Super Review Show here for another episode of Rock Talk. I have a great episode of Rock Talk today to celebrate today, April 23rd, 2021, the 50th anniversary of the Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers. Look at that album cover first and foremost. This is a real zipper. I don't want to unzip it because it's already falling apart. Look at this. This is a great album. Here's the back cover. This album, from start to finish, is a classic Stones album. In fact, they even shot it. They played the whole album, and they recorded the whole concert at the Fonda Theater, I think, in Hollywood, California, in 2015. They played the whole thing, start to finish. I think they did it reversed, though. So they did, like, Brown Sugar last, and You Gotta Move first, or something like that. I forget. But regardless, this is a great album. This album right here is fantastic, okay? There are such classic songs on this album, one of which is in my top 20 favorite songs of all time. Of all time. The track listing goes as follows. If I can get it, 1 second. It's literally so old. I mean, look, this is literally it. Watch, you open it up. Spoilers for kids. There's that there. And let's see, let's open it up. Andy Warhol did this inside covering here of the Stones album, Sticky Fingers, as I pull it out of the case thing here. So look, side one, the classic Stones LP right here. It opens up with Brown Sugar, then To Sway, Wild Horses, Can't You Hear Me Knocking? I love that song. You Gotta Move, which is actually a cover on this album, a blues cover. And then we flip the record over. So we go like this, then to that. Because that's how you listen to albums back in the day. You had to actually get up and move, people. Bitch opened up side two. I Got the Blues, which I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know that they wrote that, huh? Sister Morphine they wrote as well. Dead Flowers. Well, then you're sitting there and you're a great song. Moonlight Mile, another great song by the Stones. This album is a timeless piece of art album. It's so great, all right? I mean, look. You just see the LP covering right there. Here's a picture of the inside sleeve. And it's there's this Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Charlie Watts, Bill Wyman, and Brian Jones. These was one of the lineups for the Rolling Stones in the 70s. They are awesome. I saw them live in 2019. Obviously, not all of them were there because some of them were dead or retired or whatever. But at the same time, they put on a great show, and they played a couple songs off this album. Side one, Brown Sugar, like I said. Ian Stewart played piano on this album. Sway is a great track. Wild Horse is one of my favorite songs of all time. Can't You Hear Me Knocking is such a great track. It's just like the first 2 minutes is like this really long, like the guitar riff stuff. And all of a sudden it just gets into this jazzy blues thing. It's really cool. If you've never heard that song, I'd check it out immediately. Can't You Hear Me Knocking? A great song. Check it out on Spotify. You Gotta Move. Great song. But it was written by, it was their only cover on the album. Bitch. Great song. Like I said. And all the tracks were written by Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. Two people wrote all the songs except for, I Got the Blue, You Gotta Move. You Gotta Move was written by a guy by the name of Fred McDowell. He's a blues player. There's not really much else to go on about him, but then he was a big blues player and an influence on the Stones. That's really it. Honestly, this album is fantastic. And in fact, after the album Let It Bleed came out in 1969, this is the follow-up. The next one, Brown Sugar reached number one on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1971 off this album. I mean, Brown Sugar, like, I mean, some days, some people be like, oh, it's a racist song. Because what it is, Brown Sugar is a song about having sex with a black girl. I'm not making this up. It's totally true. Go look it up. Do the research. Brown Sugar, how come you taste so good? Come on. This is a stone cold classic album by the Stones. Haha. I love it personally. It is such a fun album to hear live. Here on the recording of this, and I love it. This was honestly the Stones. Obviously, they have a ton of hits behind their belt to do like a ton of Like, obviously, the Rolling Stones have a ton of what is it called? I can't even talk. Anyways, the Stones have a lot of hits under their belt. At the same exact time, though, some of their best albums were from like the late '60s into the early '70s. I would say their last great album. It depends on what decade you're in, but honestly, I'd say the best '70s album might be "Some Girls," the Rolling Stones' "Some Girls," which had "Miss You," "Before They Make Me Run," the title track, "Some Girls." It also had, I'm trying to think what else. As I said, "Miss You," "Shattered" is a great track. The Stones were killing it, man. And in the '70s, they were about to break up and stuff like that. But this was an album that kind of kept them in the fold, to a sense. This is like I said, Brown Sugar reached #1. When a song reaches #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, typically that album sells like wildfire, because the one single helps sell the album. So in order to get this album back in the day, Sticky Fingers, you had to have the song Brown Sugar made it sell like hotcakes. It just sold like crazy. And I love it. It's one of the few Stones albums that I really love. Is it my favorite one? It's up there. It's not. It might. Depending on which day you ask me. My favorite Rolling Stones album might be Voodoo Lounge from 1994. Believe it or not. I know. Why would you think of 1994? You know, I like the material on that album a lot more than this. Even though this stuff is great, it's classic, it's timeless, it's near perfection for a lot of people. But like I said, Voodoo Lounge is closer to my heart. I don't know why. It just is like You Got Me Rocking and I Go Wild. Great songs. But Sticky Fingers, let's back to Sticky Fingers, man. 50th anniversary. Hard to believe this album came out 50 years ago. I mean, obviously I was not alive then. I'm only 22 years old. But some people who were born, let's say in the early 60s or the late 50s, remember this album coming out and saying, "Oh my God, the Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers. Oh yeah, Mick Jagger. Oh yeah, oh yeah." Like, great album overall. Look, if you've never heard Sticky Fingers, do yourself a favor, and I cannot emphasize this point enough. Go on Spotify or YouTube and listen to the whole album from start to finish. Because that's why these albums were great, because they had a track listing that was fantastic. Talk about the Kings of Blues. The Stones nailed this album, and they are obviously still playing the material on this album to this day. It's one of their best albums, in my opinion. And I can't emphasize this point enough, as I just said. Listen to the album from start to finish, from Brown Sugar to Sister Morphine, I think. Hold on. Let me just make sure. So from Brown Sugar to Moonlight Mile, you gotta listen to all of it from start to finish. It's just the truth. That's how albums were made. They were made to hear from a starting point to an ending point, and this is a great example of it. So like I said, can't recommend it enough. Go on Spotify, listen to it today, celebrate the Rolling Stones. Woo woo! You know, come on. Anyways, I digress, guys. What do you guys think about this album? Please sound off in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any memories of Sticky Fingers. If you liked Brown Sugar, Can't You Hear Me Knocking, Bitch. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But for all of your Rock Talk episodes, keep it locked on the Super Review Show. The J-Man is off to rock. We'll see you guys later. Mick Jagger out, y'all. See you later.